the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in, yeah. No time for no loss, I'm paying the cost, I'm in it to win, yeah. Refuse, mine, it can't be diffused. If you ain't thinking the same, then we playing by different rules. You can't see the vision, we living at different views. Until we complete the mission, keep getting up, never snooze. I walk the mile in my shoes, had the mind of a fool, chasing diamonds and jewels. Trust me, I was confused. Started minding my business and used my mind as a tool. Ended up finding my purpose and found the time to get to it. They told me I couldn't do it, they told me I couldn't make it. They sold it, could never break it. That's sadly mistaken. I need a piece of the pie, I want it so bad I can taste it. They told me like Toby, keep on running toes, they gon' take a few to lose. Built to win, applied myself, I felt it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in, yeah. No time for no loss, I pay for the cost, I'm winning to win, yeah. Refuse to lose, I'm built to win, applied myself.
Welcome back to CTC. I'm your gracious host, Carl, and I'm back to talk about Final Four weekend for both men's and women's sports. We had women's championship today, banger of a game. Weird time, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but got it done, seeing it, boom. South Carolina is your champs. A round of applause for my South Carolina Lady Gamecocks. Dawn Staley Championship number 3. Hashtag update the exit. If you live in the Columbia, South Carolina exit, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. But men's side, we got to talk about the NC State Purdue game. And we have to talk about the Alabama-UConn game. Alabama-UConn, I'm going to say this early. The score does not indicate the game. You look at the score, you see UConn won by 14. Does not indicate how great that game was. But before I do all that, I would like to ask that you leave a like, comment, share, subscribe. It helps the channel. It helps the network. It helps my channel, Carl Talking College, by the Refuse to Lose Network. Always get confused there, boom. It helps channels like BWT, Baseball with Teddy, which another week of baseball is in the books. Teddy, I'm pretty sure, is going to go over and recap the Yankees-Blue Jays series. I believe the Yankees won 2-1. Not too sure. Teddy will correct me if he's in the comments. Dave's Doghouse. He's going to come with the Doghouse. I'm pretty sure I know who's going to be a dog the next week. We got Kings Talk with Joe Jordan. We're going to talk about topics involving the Kings. FFC with Coach Coombs. The draft is right around the corner. I believe the draft is like 2 weeks away. The 9th would be, not the 9th, excuse me. The 11th would be this Thursday. Yeah, 2 weeks is some change away from the draft. We got the main show featuring Joe, Tomo, and Dave. Live in the mornings, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. No Wednesdays. We got RBO, Real Ballers Only, featuring Vaughn. He's going to talk about diamonds in the rough. The main players. The players you don't hear about. The players you may hear about. And all that in between. And last but not least, we got In the Red Corner featuring Ty, Ricky, and Fast Camp. One of the hottest shows on the Refuse to Lose Network. Growing at a rapid rate. They go live on Sundays. So please like, comment, subscribe, and share to not one, not two, but all these shows if you can. It helps our network, like I said. And if you like what you're listening to, stick with us. Now, I'm going to first go over the men's games because they were Saturday. Also, got to pick the game for tomorrow night. So, we had NC State Purdue tip-off with 6:09 Saturday. And so, look, not going to lie. First half, couldn't really watch. Was at work. Had a busy, long day at work. But from what I hear, NC State did a really good job doubling Edey, making him make the right play. Kept it close early. I believe it was not a 6-point lead. I believe it was a close game. It was a single-digit lead by Purdue at the half. But both DJ Burns and Zach Edey didn't really get it going early. Second half, though, I can talk about the second half. I listened to the majority of the second half. And second half, DJ Horn got it going for NC State for sure. Hit a couple buckets. DJ Burns did hit a couple buckets. Zach Edey scored 6 points in the second half. More so later on in the second half. I know he got like a bucket with maybe 12 minutes left in the second half. Then got 2 more buckets. But really, Mason Gillis hit a big 3. Lance Jones came up big for Purdue. Fletcher Lawyer came up big for Purdue. Purdue was able to take over. Zach Edey was able to make a couple plays, hit some, not Zach Edey, but Purdue in general, hit some free throws down the stretch late, clamped up on defense against NC State. Nobody besides DJ Horn could really get it going. And that was really the what's the word I'm looking for? That was like the change of the ball game. That nobody else could get it going besides DJ Burns, while other guys from Purdue had it going. And that's what the change of the ball game. Now, Purdue did score a low 63 points. Not really the Purdue average. It was well below their average, but hey, they got the job done. Zach Edey moves on to the national championship. One more round to finally prove why he came back from last year. I'm going to move on to a game that I watched for sure. Alabama, UConn. And what a game that was. Alabama had it going early from three. I mean, early for three. Shout out to Bud being the first comment. He said, I got UConn by slaughter. I'm going to talk about that. I got to talk about that after the South Carolina game. I'm going to talk about that. Just hold tight. Yeah, Alabama had it going early. I thought UConn was going to run away early. I believe UConn scored like the first couple baskets early, but then Alabama started getting it going from three. I believe Rylan Griffin hit a three. I want to say Grant Nelson hit a three early. I got the play-by-play right here just so I can be correct. Yeah, Grant Nelson started off with the three. Then Stephon Castle hit a three for UConn. Then I want to say the next three was, Rylan Griffin. Cool. Rylan Griffin hit the next three after Grant Nelson. They just had it going. I believe they shot like 70-some% from three in the first half. Every time UConn tried to pull away, Alabama had an answer for everything in the first half. Second half, kind of the same thing. Mark Sears had a phenomenal game. Mark Sears hit a logo three. Mark Sears hit tough buckets. It was like 15-13 at one point. Mark Sears drove to the lane. I think he drove baseline, and he like Euro step. And he made a layup. I thought he had no angle for it. I thought he had no angle for that layup in the first half, and he found an angle and he made it. Mark Sears was just making magic happen on that floor. I think he finished with 24 points. The phenomenal game by him. He had it going from three. He had it going from the field. He did not want to go home. It's just UConn is different. UConn different. They got guards all over the place that can score, defend. Tristan Newton, Stephon Castle had a huge game. Donovan Clingan had a phenomenal game in the defensive end. I want to be correct on how many blocks he had, but I want to say he had like 5 or 6, but he had a couple. Second half, he was just glassing stuff. Off the glass, perfect timing, nowhere near goaltending. Just great timing by Donovan Clingan. To be correct, however, he finished with 4. Okay, he finished with 4 blocks. Felt like more, but hey, 4 is still a lot. Great shot blocker there. Like I said, man, Stephon Castle, huge game. He finished with 21. He was the leading scorer for UConn. Tristan Newton had 12. He had a couple big buckets. Him and Cam Spencer. I want to say Cam Spencer won like an 8-0 run in the first half by himself or something crazy like that. He had a good game. Caravan, he's going to give you a couple buckets. It's like I said, man, Alabama had it going from 3. Crazy. And it didn't matter because UConn still won by 14. Now, this was the closest margin of victory UConn has had in the tournament this year. If it was previously Northwestern, I think they beat Northwestern by 17. They won by 14 against Bama. The closest game UConn has had this far this tournament. And for reference, Alabama shot 47.8, so 48% from 3. 11 of 23 from 3, and still lost by 14. Normally, if you're shooting that high from 3, it's close or you're won. They lost by double digits. Now, UConn did shoot 10 to 25 from 3, 40%. I got the numbers right here, which is phenomenal in itself, especially when you got guys like Donovan Clingan and stuff like that down low. It's just, man, to me, excuse me. Oh, no, I'm tripping. To me, I thought I was reading something different. All right, to me, though, it's just, it felt like Alabama was about to have one of them games where no matter UConn do, Alabama is just going to win, and then they might lose to Purdue. And it's just so crazy to me to win that game by double digits. It's crazy to me. I can't really explain how crazy it is, in my opinion, that UConn ended up winning that game by double digits the way Bama was shooting from the floor. It just seemed like everybody had it going. Latrell Ricell had it going. Grant Nelson had it going. Mark Sears had it going. Rylan Griffin had it going at times. Ricell finished with 6 off the bench, 2 for 5, 2 for 3 from 3. Grant Nelson finished with 19, 7 to 16, 1 for 4 from 3 with 15 rebounds. Mark Sears finished with 24, 5 points. I said 5 points, 5 boards, excuse me. Aaron Stroud had 13 with 3 boards. Now, this is what I will say. I did notice something in Nick Pringle. Nick Pringle wasn't as active. I will say that he was not. I saw him get the ball in the post, try to move. I believe Clinton couldn't really move him, and it just like, I don't know. I didn't really recognize him the rest of the game. I will also say I remember Diabate went to the bucket and he got his shot double blocked, which was crazy. It's just crazy, man. UConn is such a juggernaut of a team. Great win by UConn. We got UConn Purdue in the finals. I will talk about that in a minute. Let's go over some comments and then let's talk about the women's game. So comments. Alabama showed out for show. Showed out though. Show did. They had a great game. They play that game against Purdue, they might win. It's just UConn is just a juggernaut. They're just crazy. It's just UConn are too well rounded. That's facts. They got guard play. They got big play. They got all that play down low, play around the perimeter. They got bench play. They got people that can come off the bench. With what his name? Saxton, the big fellow. Well, you got Diarra. Let me see. I'm trying to find bruh real quick. But yeah, I can't remember the big fella name, so I gotta find him. Yeah, Samson Johnson. There we go. Samson Johnson. You got Diarra off the bench. So it's just tough. It's tough to beat this UConn team. That's why they only lost 3 games this year. They were. I think they came into the tournament 32-3. Lost 3 games all year, man. It's tough to beat this team. The 3 teams that beat them: Seton Hall, Creighton, and Kansas. But Kansas was fully healthy, and they had a big Hunter Dickinson. So fully healthy Kansas, and then 2 Big East losses. It's tough to beat those guys. Moving on. Let's talk about the women's game, the women's national championship. We got my South Carolina Lady Gamecocks defeats Iowa in the revenge of last year's Final Four, 87-75. And the way it started pretty ugly for South Carolina. South Carolina gave up a 10-0 run to start, just cold from the field. Caitlin Clark, after her teammates did a great job of putting in buckets, started going crazy. I think she accounted for 13 straight points after her teammates scored, 8, maybe 7 of scored the first 7 points. Caitlin Clark first quarter was phenomenal. She finished the first quarter with 18 points alone. And I thought, man, she better have one of them games. She's not trying to go home. I feel it. It's her last game. She trying to go out with a bang. She done heard all the noise. She done heard all the hate, all the skeptics, all that. But that's when second half, I put in the chat. So I think Joe put in the chat, like, Caitlin Clark not trying to go home. She came too far to lose. And I said, South Carolina, we built for this. Then I believe we tied it up at 27. Shout out Raven Johnson. Raven Johnson did a phenomenal job on Caitlin Clark. She switched on after Bree Hall got 2 fouls. Or when Bree Hall would go to the bench, Raven Johnson would switch on Caitlin Clark. Did a phenomenal job. I think she only gave up 3 points in the second quarter to Caitlin Clark. And that was because, if I remember the quarters correctly, that was because it was a screen up top on the wing. She tried to fight over the screen, couldn't fight over it. And the big, who I think was the backup, the big lady, was in drop coverage to the paint. So Caitlin Clark had nothing but space and opportunity to shoot the ball. And she knocked it down. Oh, you give Caitlin an open shot, that's dangerous. So she did what she did. Not really on Raven Johnson. I think that's more so on the big lady. You got to hedge that. You got to come up. I'm sorry. I understand. I believe Haley set the screen. And I understand she can roll. She could be an issue. But you can't give Caitlin Clark an open 3. You can't do it. Especially because that could have got dangerous. She could have got going again. She could have. All people like Caitlin Clark need shooters like that. All they need is one to go in. Once they see one go in, it's back on. 1 turn to 2. 2 turn to 4. 4 could turn into 6 straight, and then it's a wrap from there. But it ended up just being that 1. I want to say South Carolina was up 44-40 at halftime. Let me double check that real quick. I want to say they was up 44-40 at halftime. No, it was 49 to. I'm remembering UConn, Alabama. That was the score at halftime, 44-40. Sorry about that. That was UConn, Alabama. Iowa, South Carolina was 46-49 at the halftime. South Carolina was up 3. So second half come out, third quarter is that third quarter again. That's what happened against NC State in the Final Four matchup. That third quarter pulls South Carolina apart. South Carolina pulls apart in the third quarter. They go up 9 to end the quarter. Tessa Johnson hit big threes. Shout out to the young freshman. Tessa Johnson hit some big threes. Malaysia Fluellen, she had a couple big buckets going to the cup. I think she hit like a jumper. Cardozo was everywhere, as always. Cardozo on the glass. Cardozo down low, cleaning up shots, making layups, getting fouled. She finished with 17 boards. I want to say she finished maybe with 20. Let me double check. I got the numbers right here. Cardozo finished with 15. 15 to 17. Just doing a bunch. And if she made her free throws, she might have had 20. She got to make them free throws. They free. Definitely Raven Johnson, second half, kept it up. Kept that defense going on Kaylin. She going to get her buckets. Kaylin's going to make some shots. But to hold Kaylin Clark to 9 points in the second half is a great feat in its own. And so shout out again, Raven Johnson. Didn't get it going offensively, but what she gave you defensively, you live with it. Hats off. Talked about Tessa Johnson hitting huge threes. We move on to the fourth quarter, and at some point in the fourth, South Carolina goes up 14 with about 7 minutes left. And I remember Bibby hits the chat like, get them out of here. South Carolina's going to win it. And I'm like, there's a lot of time left because I figured Iowa's not going to die. This is a good team led by one of the best players in the country, if not the best player in the country. And I know they're not going to die. Iowa cuts it to like 4. They cut it to 4, and they almost cut it to 2. But then Haley blows a layup. Haley blows a layup at the rim. It was kind of defended, but she was mostly by herself. She blows a layup. And then I want to say, did we hit a 2 or 3? I can't remember. I want to say Tess hit a 3 after that and put us up 5. And then from there, we just brought the lead back up, went back up again. Like I said, Tess hit some threes. Oh, shout out to Pow Pow. Pow Pow hit some key threes as well. Sorry about that. Yeah, for sure hit some big threes for Pow Pow. Just resiliency. I feel like South Carolina today mirrored Dawn Staley with the resiliency, the will to fight back, not giving up. And once we fought back, the way to I ain't going to say not make no mistakes. So we definitely made turnovers, travel, fouls, all that. And by the way, I do have to say this. People are going to complain about some calls. There was missed calls and bad calls on both sides. Like Kaylin Clark definitely got away with an offensive foul on her first 3. Definitely pushed off, for sure. But I believe like Iowa got called for a phantom foul on Chloe Kitts. I believe we got called for a travel. Could have been a travel, could have been a jump ball. I remember typing something that wasn't a foul that Iowa got called on late in the game with 3 minutes left, and I was like, it's not a foul, but I take it. So the refs just missed calls on both ends, made bad calls on both ends, all the above. But great game by the ladies. I know South Carolina ended up winning it by 12, but it was a really good game throughout. I was nervous throughout some of it. I'm not going to lie, especially when that 10-0 run started. I was like, oh, no, not again. Because if you're in the chat, I called for Iowa. I'm like, I want Iowa. I want to get the revenge. I want Iowa in this championship game because I felt like if South Carolina got past Iowa last year, they would have been back-to-back champs this year. So one of them, got the W. Shout out to the Lady Gamecocks again. Can't say it enough. Update that exit. Get to the comments, and then I'm going to preview the men's championship game for tomorrow. We got... Y'all know her as Dawn Staley. I know her as the final boss. She's getting there. She's getting there. 3rd national championship at South Carolina. Got more work to do. But she's definitely getting there. She definitely built the powerhouse. And she's definitely been able to sustain it. CC got clamped in the second half. Yeah, Raven Johnson did her thing. Bree Hall did her thing too. Second quarter, she got clamped in the second half. She only gave up 9 points. She was right. In all seriousness, though, Dawn Staley about to mess around and knock Gino off the GOAT, going undefeated like she did this year. She got to do it some more. Gino is the last coach to win an undefeated national championship, so it's not like she's the first to do it. Gino, she got a long way to go to pass Gino. We can't also forget about Pat Summitt. Pat Summitt is for sure up there. So we got to pass Pat. We got to pass Gino. Some might argue Pat's past Geno. Some might argue Geno past Pat. Either way, it's still two people who are in front of her, but I don't see nobody else in front of her. CC is great, but her teammates had to step up. That's how they beat UConn, and that would have been the only way they could have beaten South Carolina. This is what I'll say about that. You're right, but South Carolina is also a really great defensive team. So, yeah, you're right in the aspect, but we were allowed to guard Caitlin with one guy. We didn't have to double up top. Once Raven really locked in, it kind of changed everything for us. It made everything so much easier for us. And then they went to that zone, and we were able to kind of expose the zone, being patient, forcing turnovers. Raven Johnson plucked Caitlin Clark at least 2-3 times. I would say 2 times successful, maybe 3-4 times not always being successful, but like the steal at the end of the half. She got the steal at the end of the half and laid it up to put us up 3. That was clutch. She plugged her. She plugged her another time, I think, that ended up leading to a layup. So we just played really good defense. But yeah, let's get to the final segment of today's show. The men's championship game tomorrow. All right, y'all. I ain't gonna lie. If you got work Tuesday, you're gonna be mad at this. The men's game is tomorrow, 9:20 on TBS. I was kind of sick when I saw it. I'm thinking, come on, bro. We can't do 8 at least. 9:20. And you know the halftime gonna be longer. It's gonna be longer because of the intro. So the game might start 9:30. The halftime's probably gonna be more than 15 minutes. So the game might not be over till around midnight. Game might not be over till midnight, and then you gotta wake up before the morning and go to work. But if you like me, you're gonna watch it anyway. So let's talk about it. Purdue, led by Zach Edey. No, it's no secret. UConn. Now this is where it gets interesting. You can say led by Tristan Newton. You can say led by Donovan Clingan. Either one is perfectly fine with me. But UConn guard play, I think, is better than Purdue's guard play. And shout out my boy Luke, because I talked to him earlier this morning about actually something for next week, so stay on the lookout for that. But we was talking, and we kind of talked about the game. We both, by the way, don't want Purdue to win for basically the same reason. Yeah, we were talking about how UConn's guard play is just better than Purdue's. And Zach Edey is going to take a Tennessee performance like he did against Tennessee in that early days. It's going to take a performance like that for them to have a chance to beat UConn. And I just don't see with Sampson and Clingan that happening. I don't. Especially, this is my thing too. Stephon Castle, he had a great game. I don't know if he does that every game, but he had a great game. But that can be him having a great game. Then Tristan Newton could give you 20. And then Cam Spencer could give you 20. It's like they could give you 20 from anybody in that starting 5 could give you 20. I don't think anybody in Purdue starting 5 can give you 20. I don't think Trey Kaufman can give you 20. Brady Smith, I feel like Brady Smith can give you 20, but Brady Smith had some troubles in the NC State game. I think he's going to have them same troubles in the UConn game. Fletcher Lawyer, I feel like Fletcher Lawyer kind of has to be set up a bunch. I don't think he's going to be able to get 20 off the strength. Like, I don't think if you don't run sets for Fletcher, you tell him, hey, Fletcher, we need you to play make and get us 20. I don't know if Fletcher Lawyer can do that against this UConn team. I feel like Lance Jones, I don't think offensively he's consistent enough to give you 20 against this UConn team. Like I said, I think all these guys for UConn can give Purdue 20 points. I don't think these guys for Purdue, you tell them, hey, look, I need y'all to give me 20. I don't care who it is. I don't think all of them can do that. Like, I think Braden Smith, maybe. Do I think Zach Edey can do it? Yeah. But the rest of them guys, I don't know. So I'm going with UConn in this one. Like I said, man, UConn is just different. Offensively, great. Defensively, great. You got a shot blocker and Donovan Clingan. By the way, I did say this. If UConn beats Purdue and prevents Purdue from winning this natty, I will call Donovan Clingan by his nickname, Kling Kong. Don't know why his nickname, Kling Kong, pisses me off, but it makes me upset. I don't know why, but it makes me upset. I shouldn't. I said it before in the chat. This nickname is actually creative. It shouldn't make me upset, but it does. I don't know why. But if he wins, I call him that. But I think the shot blocking UConn has, mixed with the experience, mixed with playing in that tough Big East, mixed with the defensive intensity, mixed with the guys that can go out there and give you buckets, I think it's just going to be too much. I think they win this game. Now, about how much? I don't know. Do I see it being a double-digit win? possibly, but I mean, obviously anybody can say possibly. It all depends on Zach Edey. If Zach Edey plays like NC State, where it don't look the same, then no, it's a double-digit loss. If Zach Edey plays like Tennessee, it's a single-digit loss or possibly a win. So I'm going to pick UConn. I'm picking UConn to win the Natty. I picked UConn to win the Natty to start it. I'm not changing up now. Also, another reason why I'm picking UConn is because I don't see Purdue being able to shoot the blood out the ball like Alabama did. Alabama, again, shot almost 50% from three. They'd have took and made one more three. They'd have been 12 for 24, 50% for three. And depending if UConn would have had another opportunity, they would have lost by 11. If UConn had another opportunity, could have been lost by 12 or 13. So that's another key thing, man. It's just UConn is just so resilient and battle-tested. And they've won in multiple ways. So I'm taking UConn to beat Purdue. I'm excited to watch the game. I'm excited to see how it turns out. I'm going to go through these last round of comments, and then I'm going to end the show. So just got one from Bud. He said, if he plays like he did against Tennessee, Purdue will look pretty good and still lose by 10. It's so tough. It's tough because I don't disagree with that sentiment. So that's all I got for y'all today. I will be back tomorrow. Not tomorrow. I will be back Tuesday to go over the national championship game for the men's side. And after that, like I said, just going once a week. Once a week, it'll be Tuesday. Well, not – so this coming week is going to be Tuesday. Next week, it won't be a Tuesday. It's going to be a Wednesday. So like I said, I got my boy Luke coming on, so I'm trying to work with his schedule. He said Wednesday work for him. So we're going to do that Wednesday. But it's really going to be Tuesdays. I'm just making a special occasion for my dog. So we could talk about what we're going to talk about on Wednesday. But until then, man, y'all enjoy that national championship game. I know I will. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see the one shining moment after that as well. You know, the one shining moment, the 3-4 minute wrap up of the tournament. It's always cool to watch. I don't think I've ever cried from it, but I felt a little emotional behind it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's over. College basketball's over when that's playing. Like, no more games until November. So y'all enjoy the rest of y'all night. Enjoy the Natty tomorrow, and I will see y'all Tuesday. Peace.
Thank you for staying to the end. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe, and also hit that notification button so you can be notified next time we put out a video. If you're listening on any podcast platform, subscribe and hit that notification button, y'all, so you can be notified we put out another podcast audio. And last but not least, hit that share button. No matter what you're listening to or watching it, hit that share button and send it to somebody that you know that would love to watch this episode you just listened to. So once again, thank you for staying to the end, and we'll see y'all at the next episode.